Hey, what's going on, traders? Going 3 for 3 today. I just recorded this whole video and I wasn't recording. So if I sound a little tempered, I was like a good solid 15 minutes of talking. And then I looked over to hit stop recording and I wasn't recording at all. So that's always fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that support. If you do ever have any questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff, you can leave those down below in the comment section, or you could find Twitter and Discord links down below and find me in there. I'm going to jump right into these as always for the second time. ISEE was our first trade, and this trade was pretty interesting. It was pretty quick. You guys can see a pretty obvious triple top here at that 22 area. As we scroll in a little bit, you're going to see it was a pretty quick trade. You guys know I like that extension away from previous resistance. I was really hoping this got up through 2250 and gave us a nice little push. However, it didn't. But what did happen is if you take a look at the order here, I got filled at, if it allows me to click it, it's not going to let me click it, 9:35, 46 seconds. Got filled again, 9:35, 49 seconds. We were in this trade for 3 seconds. It was pretty quick. Put an order out. Got filled at 31. High was 44. Thing dropped instantly right as I put my order out, and we got filled, and it dropped and it popped right back up to high day. I thought about jumping right back in, but at this point, I'm like, okay, I know that happens super fast, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that 22 retest, and if it were to happen over the course of 2-3 minutes, I would say if I'm going to get back in this, I'd like to see it move even higher and extend away from that new resistance, which was the current high. So it did try to go higher just by a little bit, got up to 44. I was obviously looking for the pop up through 2250, and we didn't quite get that. But if we scroll out, you can see this thing obviously has the ability to move a bunch. So I took a little bit smaller share size because it could move $3-4. I was getting in on like a 30-40 cent pop up through a key area. So I knew that this thing could move a little bit further, and I was planning accordingly. But unfortunately, that's not what ended up happening. So pretty decent trade to open the day. Second trade was not so much fun on INDI. This one was kind of a pain in the butt. You can see previous resistance down here is 708. And if you scroll in, you can see a little mini resistance it made here. It was kind of a pause and then moved higher. But this move here was actually pretty decent. We jumped in with 200 shares to 739. And I realized that this previous resistance was here. If I get half that move, you're talking 732, something around there. And I realized I wasn't going to make that much. So I actually ended up adding another 100 shares once it felt like it was just not moving higher. And it did try to pull back here, 736. Didn't quite get me filled. I think I was trying to just get an order at 733 just to take it all, but we didn't. It's not what we ended up getting. And pretty much right after that, it spiked up and actually gave us an even nicer move. Got up to 765, and we ended up adding 300 shares. This brought our average up to 752, which, as you're going to see, the price came pretty much right back down and went to 751. So we were a penny in the green here, but I had, I think, 400 shares around that 745. I'm pretty positive it was 745. And we didn't get that moved back down through 50. It actually finished this candle back up at the highs, tried to go higher up to 774. So at this point, you know, I'm not happy about being in this trade. I'm ready to just get out. Wasn't looking to add unless it made a run up towards 8. It was getting, the volume was kind of tricky because it really didn't feel like it was getting a lot of volume. It was actually pretty slow. We kind of grinded our way back down. We got to, as you can see, 748, 745, 745, 746, and then we started to move higher. And it just wasn't giving us that break that we were looking for. That's when I kind of noticed that, you know, it might be trying to use this as some support. And so we ended up starting to piece out of this thing and took it off as it went higher. And as you can see, it did end up trying to get back to the highs, came back down to the same area, back to the highs, and it just kind of went sideways. So really nothing to gloat about there. That actually ended up being a pretty break-even trade. We made $10.64 on it. After commissions, it was like $5. So not really too much to talk about there. DLO was our last trade, and this one was pretty good, but at the same time, not exactly an A+ setup. I would give ISEE and INDI, I would give them both maybe a C, C+. You know, if I was giving them grades. This one, I would give maybe a B+. I would say leaning more towards a B. And the reasoning is not because of the move. The move itself was really good. And that's actually why I even took this trade to begin with. You're going to see we went right into a double top area at this 1250, which was the high from yesterday. And that's kind of what makes it a B trade. I don't like trading double tops. If you've been around on my channel for a long time, you know I don't like double tops because if you get through that double top, the odds are there's going to be tons of stop loss orders here, especially at a key area like a $0.50. The odds are people are putting their stops, you know, they see the high from yesterday, it's a $0.50. It's a really good spot to put some stops. So it got to 1250, and I think it actually only got to 1249, which was the exact high from yesterday. And it really started to struggle. And when you zoom in and you see the move that it made, it was a really good move up to that point. So I actually ended up starting this at 1246, probably a little bit bigger size than I should have, knowing what could happen on something like this. And it did end up going up through. So at this point, I was actually kind of expecting a big spike up through 13. And I was like, all right, we're going to have to, you know, hold on for a little bit because I know how many times I've seen this exact move where it gets through the double top and then it really gives us that move. And a really good first entry would have been at somewhere like 1320, 1325, right? That's the entry that we'd be looking for. But now we're in at 1250, under 1250. And so if we get the add up there, we're not even going to be above 13 with our average. So not exactly what you're looking for. However, it kind of did a little bit of a fake out here, started to come down. It got to this 1250 and just kind of sat here. You can see they tried to use it as support. It did close pretty close to the highs there. Came all the way back down to that 1250 area. And something that's never happened in my trading career happened. I had an order out for 75 of the shares there and an order for 25 all the way down here. In a flash, 1 second, it went from 1250 all the way down here to 1171, and it went all the way back up to like 12. Got both my orders filled on that flash little spike down, and that's the first time that's ever happened to me. And instant smile on my face when it happened. We like to call that a wee in the ISW room, and I've never been a part of one. And the reason I'm usually never a part of one is because usually those wees happen after you get a little consolidation. It'll try to go lower. Then you usually get that attempt higher. And based on what that attempt higher does is usually if it starts to come back down, that's when you get the wee. It is very rare that you get that wee straight from the get, where it starts to come down and then you get the wee straight down. So it was very cool to finally be a part of one of those where you have your orders out pretty low and they just get filled all in the matter of a second. It's something that you don't see often. I might even take the footage from that and upload it as a short, just because it was pretty fun. Was kind of sad because we did actually have an ad sitting up here at 1287. I figured that out when I was recording this the first time, and we just didn't get that fill when it was popping up. And SSR kind of made this one a little bit difficult as well, because you guys know that when I'm looking for the jiggle, short sale restriction will prevent me from hitting the bid on the way down because you have to get filled as the price is moving up when it's on SSR. So I placed an order out at 1287, just assuming if we got a nice pop up through 1250, it would head up to there. It went to 1279. So that was a little bit frustrating. Who knows if I would have gotten filled if I tried to chase it down, again, because you got to get filled on that uptick. And, but hey, it still ended up being a really good trade. And I'm not going to complain too much about it. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that support. If you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. And if, catch me in Discord, Twitter. I think I said that already, but I'll see you guys Monday morning. Peace.